It is the year 1998, and architecture professor Rem Koolhaas and his team of students at Harvard University have gathered in Lagos, Nigeria, commencing a major research project of the prescribed city at the forefront of globalizing modernity. During his 3-year research tenure from 1998 to 2001 in Lagos with the Harvard Project on the City, Koolhaas concluded that Lagos is the blueprint for urban design and modernity. It is, however, important to consider the line between empathy and necessity in the controversy surrounding Rem Koolhaas's research in Lagos. Although aid to the Lagos community may have been a necessity, Koolhaas ultimately did not empathize with the people to work towards this goal. In the field of architecture today, when you think of Rem Koolhaas, you are immediately drawn to his bodies of work at his architectural firm, OMA, with projects like the Seattle Central Library in Seattle, Washington, the Casa de Música in Porto, Portugal, and the CCTV headquarters in Beijing, China. Co-founding his practice, the Office for Metropolitan Architecture, or OMA, in 1975 in London, Koolhaas gained recognition for his book, published in 1978, titled Delirious New York, a retroactive manifesto for Manhattan. As the title suggests, his book is a written manifesto for the city of Manhattan, New York, investigating Manhattan from a polemical lens. Koolhaas suggests that the city is composed of autonomous organic blocks that coexist in an architectural relationship. Koolhaas even goes as far as considering his writing as architecture and uses the block metaphor to describe Manhattan's evolution as a symbiotic process. This notion of autonomous processes and analysis of what truly defines a city seeps into Koolhaas's future research, illustrating Delirious New York as a precursor to what is to come in Lagos, Nigeria. Lagos is a dense city that is always crowded and always moving. In interviews with residents of Lagos, they describe the city as fast-paced and ever-changing, where you have to be ready to adapt at any second. A child describes his experience trying to make money in Lagos, and it's notable that he was not at all alarmed when stating that there was a decent chance he could be kidnapped or hit by a car every time he went out. The violence that surfaced in Lagos continued to grow as Koolhaas began his research. Accessing information on Lagos was fairly difficult at the time, and the U.S. State Department strongly discouraged their travels there. Upon arrival, Koolhaas claimed they found an apocalyptic city that seemed to be burning at the edges. What he failed to realize was how Lagos came to be that way, and did not try to understand its history during his research there. By neglecting to learn about Lagos's past, Koolhaas was unable to empathize with its people today. Instead of focusing on the people that would be inhabiting the city, he just saw Lagos as a place that had the potential to become unbelievably powerful. Before further diving into the impact he had on Lagos, it's important to define empathy and necessity in the context of urban development. When discussing the necessity of aiding a city, architects will find different definitions to suit their plan. Koolhaas saw that Lagos was a dense city with less than quality buildings, so he found that it was necessary in the sense that someone would eventually realize its potential, so he may as well be the one to capitalize off of it. While there were definitely issues that needed to be addressed about the structure of Lagos, a more humanitarian intervention could have helped significantly more than an architectural takeover. However, that would take an empathy that Koolhaas lacked during this project. Empathy meaning an understanding of the people and the context of the location that an architect is working on. In an interview with Koolhaas himself, he admits that the necessity of injecting himself into Lagos overrides the need for a compassionate approach to the project. That completely disregards the people that he is ultimately working for, the residents of Lagos, and undermines the stated purpose to help them.
Koolhaas is riddled with contradictions like this, and while his theoretical polemics can amaze, inspire, and push limits, they can also confuse, frustrate, and overwhelm with irony and cynicism. Rem Koolhaas stated that there were worries about crime and security, and Lagos was seen as a no-go area. However, he also said that Lagos presented unique opportunities and that his visit was not intended as an exotic adventure, but rather as a cooperative attempt to comprehend and instruct, bringing attention to Lagos' resilience and potential ability to survive. Koolhaas stressed the significance of identifying the organization within what appears to be chaos in the city. Stepping back, the reasons for bringing him to Lagos were met with critiques that are more than valid. Koolhaas is often recognized for his avant-garde and innovative approach to design. His bold and distinctive architectural concept displayed in the Beijing CCTV headquarters and the Seattle Central Library have won praises. Some might suggest that this inventive attitude could offer cities like Lagos a new viewpoint and is necessary for urban development. According to the architectural critic Paul Goldberg, Koolhaas' work is remarkable for its intelligence and the sheer exuberance of its inventiveness. Moreover, it has shown that Koolhaas can modify his designs to fit particular needs of a city. Given Lagos' specific set of opportunities and problems, Koolhaas' contextual expertise, as well as capacity to design architecture that addresses community needs, could be valued in this instance. The architecture journalist Justin McGurk gave him high marks for intelligent adaptability, implying he has the capacity to recognize and react to the particular context of every project. However, some opponents claim that Koolhaas' obsession with gigantism could not adequately meet the actual demands of a city such as Lagos, where problems like poverty, informal settlements, and inadequate infrastructure are commonplace. The focus on mega projects could be perceived as out of touch with realities faced by most of the city's residents, which necessitate an emphasis on social and economic sustainability. In addition, in a multicultural metropolis like Lagos, there may be worries about cultural appropriation and the imposition of Western architectural norms. It is possible for supporters of Koolhaas' design to downplay or ignore the city's cultural and historical background. The architectural critic Hal Foster suggests that Koolhaas' work might be seen as part of a broader trend where difference is exchanged for an image. Furthermore, the socioeconomic influence of Koolhaas' design in Lagos are debatable. Despite the fact that prominent structures can improve a city reputation abroad, concerns may be raised regarding whether these initiatives truly meet the requirements of community and promote sustainable urban growth. These critiques are more than valid, and further prove that Koolhaas did not have the residents' interest in mind when working there. While it is important that he is an established architect that can adapt his projects for each city, it should have been important to work with the people, taking a bottom-up approach so that Lagos could sustain and grow from his initial help. Overall, Koolhaas' works in Lagos highlights the importance of balancing necessity and empathy in architecture. What he lacked during his project was the insight that necessary changes can be made while also understanding the history and people of the city he's trying to change. One cannot simply disregard the majority of inhabitants for a project and still call it successful. In the future of architecture, especially in less developed places, there must exist compassion and desire to understand the context of every project.